Okay. Hello, my friends. I'm excited to bring on a past I'm sorry, listen to me, a past client of mine, who I'm still working with today, about a year and a half after I started working with her back in January of 2021. Her name is Shikha, and I'm really excited to have her on the show today. We are going to be talking about Shikha's experience and fertility journey um, and pretty much how she's come to finally be pregnant, where she is today successfully pregnant and almost due. Shikha, remind me, you are now how many weeks out?
33 weeks.
You're 33 weeks in, so you've got just a few weeks to go, and it's really exciting. I'm so excited for you and your family to grow to grow your family with this new beautiful little baby. So, Shikha, without further ado, I'd love to just hear from you. Why don't you just share with the listeners today a little bit about who you are, kind of what your fertility journey and experience was before we met and we started working together, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Okay. Thank you, Nora, first of all, for having me here. And I would do anything for you, even though I hate speaking.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so as you said, yes, so we had been trying to get pregnant since 2019, mid like June or July, but it was not working out. I am a physician, and I was of course, it's a stressful job. So I am a physician, and we were struggling to have a baby. We moved to California in 2020, and then I found one of the physicians that I really, really love, Dr. Amy.
Oh, and yes. We all love Dr. Amy.
Oh, yeah. I love Dr. Amy. Yeah. So we talked to her, did some tests, and initially we thought the problem was with my husband's sperm count. And that's why we decided, okay, let's try the IVF. That way we can do selected sperm selection, and then, it might be easier for us. Mm-hmm. I did not even know the importance of nutrition, supplements, anything during that time, during my first egg retrieval. I had my first egg retrieval in 2020. That was just like with the medications. I did not do any extra supplements or any like changes in the nutrition. We had about like maybe 10 eggs retrieved during that time, all of them fertilized, but we only got 2 normal embryos from that particular retrieval. And then while talking to Dr. Amy and figuring out why did this happen, because we had good quality, we thought we had good quality eggs because there were supposed to be no problems with me. Mm-hmm. But then Dr. Amy was telling me about this nutrition, that sometimes the nutrition and supplements do help. And then she recommended me Nora, actually. Mm-hmm. So she told me about Nora, and that, sometimes just having one person to keep you accountable, to help you just get started with that particular health diet, or even like, how to incorporate important stuff in your life, that might help. So then I found Nora in 2021, January. Mm-hmm. We initially started with one-on-one coaching. And because for me, I personally like to have all the attention from my coach so that I can connect with them, I can talk to them. So I really like one-on-one coaching. And I feel like when I do one-on-one coaching, they understand me better. They know what I'm going through. They know what I need. And they kind of guide everything towards me that way. So when I found Nora, we kind of had the whole discussion about what we wanted to do. Initially, we were focused more on the diet, and I realized how much of unhealthy diet I was having. Like, I didn't even know what kind of oil I was using. Like, I changed every single thing, from moving on from like all the preservatives to having all organic natural stuff, to incorporating more protein in my diet, incorporating more healthier stuff like vegetables. I even tried gluten-free, just having a little bit of gluten, but that helped me so much. My physical health improved significantly. I did a transfer in the month of May, but before that, there were some other issues that Dr. Amy wanted to address, like maybe I had a septum, but at that point, I did not want to undergo surgery. So we tried the transfer, which but it was a chemical pregnancy.
And this was back in May of 2021, just to clarify. Yes. Okay.
So that was a chemical pregnancy, so that didn't work out. And that was not because of anything else, but just because of the uterine septum that I had. And so we decided to go for the surgery to remove the septum. And then during the surgery, they found that I had stage 4 endometriosis. That again gets exacerbated with a lot of inflammation if you're having inflammatory diet and everything. So after the surgery in July, I focused more on healthy eating again, gluten-free completely, tried to avoided all the inflammatory products. Thanks to Nora that we were actually meeting almost every week, and she was helping me with the diet, giving me all the recipes.
Yes, remember Thank you. Thank you. Remember the accountability journal as well. Like yes. I got you to actually with my clients, everything is on the shared Google Drive. And so with most of my clients who are open to doing this, because it is a little bit of a task, but I get, my clients, yourself included, to log your food diary and journal every day. Because as we know, Shikha, it's hard to, people are, I eat healthy. I eat well. I'm good. I had enough protein that day. But once you actually put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, I guess we could say in this scenario, and you start actually writing it all down, you really get to see what it is that you're putting in your body, and that's where really that personalized coaching can come in and say, you know what, Shikha, no, like there are big gaps here. We need to improve this. You kept
me accountable. Definitely, you kept me accountable. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was actually helpful because I realized how much of the breakfast I was missing initially, and then changing it to having a healthy breakfast. Oh my God, that was life-changing, honestly.
And I know it sounds so simple, right? But once you actually implement it, it really makes the world of a difference.
And now I cannot do a single day without breakfast. I'm so used to having healthy breakfast now. Mm-hmm. But then because of all the things that you have made me do, keep me accountable, change my diet, have every single thing like non-inflammatory. The second retrieval that I had in September, I had 20 eggs out, and mature eggs were like maybe 12, but I had 7 normal embryos, which according to Dr. Amy was like, this doesn't happen that frequently. Mm-hmm. So just with the diet itself and
the supplements, we did a lot of work with supplements. Yes.
Yeah, the supplements that you recommended, especially the natural ones from your full script. Oh my God. Those were really a game changer for us. Even for my husband, the ashwagandha and the NAC that he was taking to, amazing. Those CoQ10, those helped us a lot. And then we transferred the second time. Second time was a different problem because we actually had a lot of hormones because we tried immediate transfer after the procedure. So those hormones didn't help me and the second transfer didn't take. But again, we continued. We did not change our diet. We just continued on whatever you were recommending, as well as the exercises, the stretching, the yoga. Oh my God, the downward dog. My husband joined those, and he loves them. So we kept doing that, and ultimately, with all this, finally in January, the transfer was successful. It took, and it is still going on. But I have made sure I still do every single thing that you recommended.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so if we go ahead. No, it's okay.
I was just going to say, and as I told you, since January, I became a vegetarian, and I know you had a tough time figuring out my diet. But then the supplements that you have been telling me and the collagen protein, I just make sure that I have that every single day, and I have still been able to maintain my protein intake because of your stretching sessions, yoga sessions, if you see, my body is perfectly fine and the weight gain is exactly at the right places and my baby is growing fine. And that's all thanks to you.
Thank you, Shikha. It makes me my heart warms and I get so full with joy when I hear this from clients. So I really appreciate you sharing this with everybody, being vulnerable, putting yourself on the podcast and sharing your story, because this is so important with this community for everybody to understand that, there are so many people who do struggle with fertility and getting pregnant, and that, you're not alone. Wherever you are, you are not alone. Although this journey can be extremely lonely, and everybody is going to have their own experience, which is going to be, devastating for everybody individually, depending on what that might be. But at the end of the day, as a collective, you are not alone, and there is hope. There really is hope. So Shikha, with all of that, and if we look back and we say, okay, we are now summer of 2022. You were starting to try to conceive in 2019. You went through about a year and a bit of working through fertility treatments. We started working together at the beginning of your fertility treatment kind of timing. And then it took us about, let's say, like from the time you retrieved your original set of eggs to the time that you retrieved your second set of eggs, which was 20 eggs and then 12 good embryos. That was about an 8 month. I'm trying to, just to do the math here. Was that about 7 to 8 months?
Yeah, I would say so.
About 7 to 8 months, which takes time. And a lot of my clients, when they start, they're like, I'm like, give me 3 months at least if you can. And it's really challenging for some people. So I'd love to hear from, your personal experience, because, there were a lot of emotional ups and downs with you. I remember you took some time off, you had to take some space, and you had to just allow yourself to kind of process when the transfers didn't go through, and you had that chemical pregnancy. I remember it was like, okay, Shikha, we're going to touch base again in about 3 weeks. Take your time and do what you need to do. But there are so many ups and downs in this journey. What would you say? What would you say were your biggest kind of struggles and frustrations during that time, and how were you able to overcome them?
Honestly, the biggest frustration is because, especially as a physician, I'm so used to having a solution and having like being in control, and not being in control was I think my biggest frustration, because nothing was under my control. And if things failed, I was shocked and surprised because I couldn't figure out why. And I think I struggled with that. I could not understand why this is happening, why, and there's always a question, why me? And that question I think a lot of people go through the same thing. Like, why is this happening to me? And why this other person is like having such an easy life? Because grass is always greener on the other side, as we say.
Of course, yes.
But again, like, I feel like I had a lot of support, especially from my husband, and just taking some time off. And actually, honestly, talking to you also helped me a lot, because whenever we were doing one-on-one coaching, we always used to make sure that we had like 10-15 minutes of like,
just chatting time.
Yeah. So I do think that helps, because, there is a person who is your coach, who is going through everything with you, who is trying to understand what you're going through and is not judging you. And I think that helps too. And I definitely think that helped me too. And then again, just trying to keep in shape, just trying to make sure that like I'm burning out all the negative energy and everything definitely helped me a lot.
And also, now that as you're speaking with that too, I also remember when you would get to those kind of places of feeling maybe like defeated or you're frustrated with this. I remember you would say, Nora, my nutrition went off, right? Like, oh, I was so upset that I ate whatever I wanted to eat this week, which again, as I would always say, Shikha, that's okay. It's okay. That's allowed to happen. And then it was like, okay, we're now at the next phase or stage or a couple weeks out. Let's help you get back on the healthy bandwagon, because as we both know, whether it's fertility or any real big struggle in life, once you kind of have those dark thoughts or you're kind of in that raw emotional state, a lot of us go to food to self-soothe and to make us feel better. So, and then in addition to that, when we start eating those bad, quote unquote, bad foods or no foods that we know that are not necessarily healthy, that then kind of compounds the guilt, the shame, knowing that you shouldn't be doing this, but can't help it. And so it's just this cyclical thing that could just kind of keep spiraling and spiraling. So that was another one that I remember with you as well, is just always coming back to, okay, Shikha, that's okay. You got it out of your system. You did what you needed to do. Now it's time to get back on track.
Yeah. But I feel like if I did not have anybody to talk to, like if I didn't have you, then I don't know. I mean, I would have gotten off the nutrition bandwagon for sure. I definitely think so.
No, you've been, I mean, I love it. I love giving you new recipes and you always get so excited. So it makes me feel so good when you're like, I tried this one and it was so good. Now you eat it for like the next week or something. So
yeah, especially the egg muffins. They're amazing.
Yes. And they're the easiest. Egg muffins are so easy. You can make them, you can make a big batch and you can literally have them for a snack, for breakfast, top on a salad for lunch, or you can also have it for dinner. It's one of the best. So, what would you say, what was your biggest takeaway during, because, well, okay, so before I even get to this, I just want to share, I guess, with those listening, generally speaking, I have what's called the Master Your Cycle to Get Pregnant program, which is a 3-month coaching program. Now, most of my clients, I say at minimum 3 months, but we sometimes stretch it out to 4 to 6 months, depending on where everybody is in the journey and what they want me to help support them with. That being said, Shikha is now a year and a half out since we started working together, yet we are still working together. Shikha has been one of my longest fertility clients, and we've been working after we finished with the Master Your Cycle to Get Pregnant program with the supplements, with the nutrition. I've been training Shikha with every week with personal weight and resistance training and yoga, as you mentioned before, to keep your body strong, healthy, and also kind of keeps you accountable with everything else with nutrition, because we talk about that when we're in our sessions as well. So what would you say during our time together? Let's talk about maybe like the more beginning phase, not necessarily the exercise component, but more the beginning phase when we really were getting you to change your entire lifestyle with regards to nutrition and all that. What was one of the biggest takeaways that you could share with those listening that you got from the program or working with me?
So what I realized working with you is that it's not that difficult to start healthy lifestyle or healthy eating. It's just that I think you need someone to just guide you initially and keep, as I said, accountability. I think that's the biggest thing that I felt, at least for people like me, who can easily fall off the bandwagon and then, if somebody's keeping you accountable. But it's not that difficult. You just have to find the right person. You have to have that connection with the coach. And I feel like that's what we had. And, you paid so much attention to what, like I'm Indian and I have a completely different healthy, I won't say healthy, eating habits. And you kind of worked around that to find me recipes, which I feel like was very, very personalized. And I think that's what definitely helped us. Just small things like changing oil. It's not that difficult, but if somebody is guiding you, that becomes so much more easier. I found a friend in you and a coach in you too. So I do feel like that's how I felt initially. And I was becoming more comfortable with you. I also learned like so many other things, like, okay, during this part of your periods, you should be eating this more, or during this part of your menstrual cycle, you should be eating this more. And that changes your mood. That completely changes your mood. And I definitely think these things helped me, especially when you were trying to figure out like recipes and food according to my lifestyle. I think that's what helped us the most.
So it didn't feel as overwhelming as maybe it could have been if you were just doing all this on your own, being like, oh my God.
I have tried it before doing on my own, but it never works out completely. You will do it for maybe like a week somehow, but after that you'll be like, oh God, it's just too much. I'm not going to do this anymore. But like when you have, like with you, it was not like this. It was not that overwhelming. I felt like I had so much support, and just simple things like the recipes itself help you. Like they helped us so much, quick, fast, healthy, and according to our eating habits.
And so what would you say if you were talking to yourself a year and a half ago, or talking to anybody else on the journey who is currently still struggling and not seeing a positive pregnancy test every month as they try, or they're having failed transfers, or they're not getting the number of eggs that they were hoping in the egg retrieval. If you could go back and talk to yourself or speak to anybody out there, what would your piece of advice be at now that you have come and you are successful in where you're at?
First of all, it's not your fault. I would say it's not your fault. Things do happen, but we should not be blaming ourselves. We have to try to see what we can do the best, what we can provide the best. And I think for me, the biggest thing was I never used to have breakfast. I was not that active. I was active. I was hiking, but not active other ways. So for me, I feel like I needed someone who could be my friend, my coach, my guide, and somebody who could keep me accountable within the reasonable limits, not pushing me too much, but at the same time understanding my limitations and helping me around that. I really, really wish I had found you before my first egg retrieval, maybe like 5-6 months before my first egg retrieval. And I do think that that might have helped me significantly for my first one too. My second egg retrieval was the best egg retrieval that Dr. Amy had seen as well. Like that's how different it was just with nutrition and working out. Mm-hmm. The second thing I felt was like, if I did not do one-on-one coaching, I think I would have just been the same person who was like, oh my God, this is happening again. But just like talking and working out and burning out those energy also helped us a lot. And I do feel that I would have preferred to do that even before my first egg retrieval. I don't think I have seen anybody who can incorporate yoga, weight, and resistance in one. And that is why I love working with Nora. Like, this is just amazing. The kind of stretches, mixing yoga with the weight, resistance, strength, I have never seen that with anybody else. And I think that is my biggest take from you, that I don't think I can, even after the baby, even whatever happens, I'm not going to leave you, because I just feel like we're just like, we are friends, we are my coach, and you are the only one who can do this for me.
Thank you, Shikha. And Shikha and I live like across the country from each other. Shikha's in California, sunny California. So one day when I come to visit, you better believe I'm going to be staying with you. And if you ever come to Toronto, you know you're going to come and definitely pay a visit and stay with me if you can as well. But yeah, and Shikha and I are actually, after this recording, we're actually going to jump on our workout session. So you're not off the hook today, Shikha. We are doing our workout shortly. But these are great suggestions or tips and advice and suggestions for those listening. And one more last point that I just would like to kind of share and harp on, I guess, or really kind of bring this home is don't underestimate the amount of time that it takes for the body to change, because I see this in a lot of my clients, especially or even women in the community in this space. I mean, I know, especially as women, we have this quote unquote biological clock. It takes time. You feel the pressure of time. And depending on where you are, if you're doing this in your 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, some of my clients, even in their early 40s, time is obviously a thing, but, giving yourself a chunk of time to really focus on your health before even starting to try again, whether that's through treatment or natural conception, is what I see. That is where my clients get the results, is when they allow themselves to take the time to optimize their health. Because like you said, Shikha, we could even see this in the hard numbers data from the first egg retrieval to the second egg retrieval and the amount of time that we took. But I know it's hard when, like, if I said to you, Shikha, give me 5 months, it's hard. And we have to remember, though, our body was doing this for like 20 years. Change is difficult. Our body was used to something for 20, 25 years. And now you're bringing the changes. It's going to take time. And it did take time. Yes, it'll be frustrating, but we just have to stick to it and let the body take over. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Shikha. Appreciate your time. And thank you so much. And let's get ready for a workout. Sounds good. Thank you, Nora.